Okay, we are talking with Derek Sharp. He is going to be talking with us about many topics, and we're going to start with his company called Curtain Jerker Designs. Hey, Derek.
How's it going, Greg?
It's going good.
We can definitely talk about myself, about pro wrestling, just anything that comes up, guys. My company, Curtain Jerker Designs. I'm actually here on Facebook. I can plug that while I'm here. Facebook.com/Curtain Jerker Designs. Kind of go by this whole model of main event designs at Curtain Jerker rates, and it's what it is. It's definitely. I think my designs are pretty good. I'm not gonna say they're the best around. There's other guys, but I keep it affordable. I know that everyone tries to put their money into this pro wrestling thing, putting on a show. Prices and things and buildings and other costs come up, and I try to keep it to where you don't have to stress out about getting your advertisement for your show. That's kind of what that's about. I've been doing it a couple of years here, and it really just grew from my time as a ref and breaking into the business. When I first came in, all this graphic stuff was kind of new to everyone. If you go back and search for some flyer work around the '07 time, you'll definitely see what I'm talking about. It was definitely a couple of pictures on a piece of paper, some words, and that's what you got. And the company that I working for didn't have a guy to do that, so I stepped up, and it's leaded me all this time of practice and getting better at what I do, and now I got a little company out of it. Don't really ref anymore. That's not retired because no one ever you don't retire from this. So I'm on vacation, I guess you could say. I don't know. I haven't done anything about 8 or 9 months. I did a benefit cancer show for a friend of mine here in South Bend, and it was more honestly, it was more to go see the guys. After 7 or 8 years now, it's like a brotherhood. It's like family. It's like not seeing a friend for a while, and you basically go to a show and show up, and you see all your friends, and see some of your enemies, but mostly you see the good guys, and say hi to them, and it's always a good time hanging out. But yeah, that's what I'm about.
So how did you come up with that name though, Curtain Jerker? There must have been a reason behind that.
Yeah, originally it was just Derek Sharp Designs. If I don't, I actually, yeah, DerekSharpDesigns.com is actually down right now because I'm redoing some stuff. But I look at it, and I looked at my work, and I went and I saw what could I offer people on my page that you want to look at, and well, 98.8% of it was wrestling. So you know, I looked for a name that was more had to do with something with wrestling. The term curtain jerker is usually the guy that is in the first couple of matches. They've got their place on the show to go out there and really get the fans going in the beginning of the show. It's a hard little spot there, but I went with the curtain jerker name, and we been around a couple of years. It's kind of just starting out. We're kind of in the middle of things right now, but like I said, it's more goal geared towards wrestling, and then designs is what we do. We just design stuff. I told a friend the other day it's pretty much I'm coloring with my computer. It's like, what do you do? I was like, well, I just color things and make little pictures with my computer. Obviously, people like them. I'm actually on Facebook right now, and it's bugging me that my page is at 699 likes. Uh, I know I gotta have someone out there that can come like this page. It's stuck at 699. Like I said, I'm willing to work with people. I know the budgets are low. I know some people don't have, you know, the budget to pay for something that's really gonna stand out. And I think some of my work's really good. If you look at it from a business point, it's hey, I want this guy on my show. Well, how much does this guy cost? No, he's $50. Well, we could get a flyer for $50. The guy in action would put on a better show for the fans. At the same time, if the flyer doesn't look good, you're not going to get anybody into the building. So
That's true.
it's definitely true. And like I said, I'm willing to work with people. There's a couple. If you go to the video section on my Facebook page, I've got a couple of plugs for people. And that's it's deals I've worked out with. Hey, maybe you've got an ex TNA guy on your show. I'll gladly take a video plug from this guy for for some flyer work. I'm, like I said, willing to work with people. I've done designs where people are like, "Hey, I don't get paid till Friday. It's Monday. Is that cool?" I definitely will have it in the background, have it waiting to go. And Friday comes around, you make a payment, and we're good to go. So
Yeah, it
it's
was
my
really simple. I didn't have any trouble. We just purchased one, and it was a very simple process, and you get something really good too. I'm really looking forward to using it.
Yeah, like I said, I talked to you about it before we started. I definitely like the way it comes out. Like I said, I've done stuff like that where it's like, what are you trying to accomplish? What's the grand scheme of things? You guys are going to be running out of Wyoming, so I figured, mountains, stuff like that. And like I said, I try to work with you, try to work with what you guys got. And if the first one wouldn't have worked out, and you would have been like, hey, is tweak it up a bit, and we can just go from people's ideas. And like I said, um, you know, this it's a business. It's wrestling, but it's also a business. And McDonald's, Coca-Cola, all those brands have their logo. It doesn't anywhere. The McDonald's logo doesn't have anything that doesn't have a spatula on it. It doesn't. It's not. You don't think restaurant. You think fast food, and you think McDonald's, and it's. I think I love your logo. Honestly,
I do too.
love the way it came out, folks. Make sure to check those guys out on Facebook. I'm sure all those logos will get updated here here when we're done with this. And yeah, no, I'm just here to help people out. I love the business. I love pro wrestling. I'm a fan. I work on the other side of things, but at the same time, I just want to see it do good everywhere. There's no reason why wrestling can't do good. No matter what company, who people are putting the show on. Like, if it doesn't work out, I'm out of a job. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that make their living in professional wrestling, and if it's not as popular, then we're all out of work. So just trying to do my little slice of pie there, trying to help out as much as I can.
That's right. And how can people contact you if they do want to hire you for some work?
Well, that's funny because I'm on Facebook like all the
all the time. Yeah, that's probably the best places to find you.
Yeah, I sleep about 4 hours a night. Right now I'm a really hectic schedule, but yeah, Facebook, Curtain Jerkers Designed on Facebook. Message me. Like I said, I have a couple of international clients, so like right now they'll just be stirring awake, and I'll just be getting ready to work with them all night. But Facebook, I actually have a funny story. I had someone call me the other day.
Okay.
Now, I don't have a cell phone. I never leave the house, so it's not really a matter. So I have a few people that call me at the house. You've called me, I think, or I've called you. The couple of my other clients, my regulars, they call me every once in a while. I'll just answer like if we're just me and you, just being a friend, and I'll just be like, hey man, what's up? How's it going? Like that kind of thing. So I get a phone call, and I'm like, yo, and this lady's like, excuse me. I'm like, okay, well maybe it's like my doctor or somebody calling. I'm like, oh, sorry, can I help you? They're like, yeah, is this a business? I'm like, no, like this is my house. And they're like, oh, well, I was on Facebook and this number is listed under a business. And I'm like, oh really? I'm like, okay, well, she's like, do you do flyers? I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, yeah, I do flyers. I'm like, I'm like, sorry, thanks for calling Curtain Jerker Designs. Like, I'm like, whoops. I'm like, yeah. So like, you could call me, I guess. Like that was awkward, but yeah, like I said, Facebook is the best thing. I have an Instagram. I just post photos of randomness related to stuff I'm doing. It's kind of hard because when you're working on a project for someone, they kind of want to keep it hush hush until they get to do the big reveal. Yeah, so I can't really put that on Instagram. Most of the Instagram stuff is like what I'm having at 3 in the morning, and I post some graphic work, but like my latest Instagram is a picture of Dunkin' Donuts coffee that I got was gingerbread, and got a little gingerbread man on it. And I'm like, please help me stay awake tonight. It's all dependent on you. Like just random stuff like that. But Instagram, I got Twitter. I don't have a cell phone, so my tweets are just weird. And I don't, like I said, I don't feel like I'm a business. I don't want to tweet, hey, we're having 25% off on this and that this week. Like that's not who I am about. Like I'm a friend. I'm a guy that does stuff where you like call my house and be like, hey, asshole, make me something. you know. But Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, if you want to see some funny photos every once in a while. I'll work with a company that's like, yeah, just put it on Twitter. Put it on Instagram that you're doing stuff for. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, Facebook, basically mostly Facebook. Even right now, I'm running system scans on my computer, and I have Facebook on my tablet, so I'm still. So yeah, TNA. It's kind of funny you said that about the Broman because I was just gonna be a cheap plugging kind of guy and be like, I did work for Robbie E, and he's not a bad guy. He's a good guy, but he's not a good guy.
Well, I mean,
Like
he plays a bad, and you know what? Maybe it's really not him. It's just that they brought him up a little too fast. Maybe that's the problem here. But I don't know. It's just I've just always had I don't like that whole Jersey Shore thing, and I don't know. It's just I mean he's a great wrestler. I mean they're all great wrestlers, obviously, or they wouldn't be there. But
yeah, it's definitely. I think the whole like Jersey Shore thing you said a couple of years back, like that was the hot thing. So I mean, you kind of go with.
I guess I missed that one.
Well, I mean, and just in general, like in pop culture, like that was it was. I'm not saying I liked it or didn't like it.
All right. Get that clear.
There've been things and trends that have been hot, and you're like, what is that? And I don't understand it. But you want to keep current with what's going on, then you got to do that. And I think now they're kind of tweaking it now that it's a Broman thing. It's not necessarily a Jersey Shore thing now. They're just kind of evolving his character, so to speak. I mean, if you look at CM Punk isn't the same CM Punk that he was when he debuted. Like he's had different directions he's gone in. So I mean, things change. And TNA I can't really stand to watch all that much. It seems to be all over the place. Like 1 week, and then like I think the deal with their 2 or 3 weeks that are taped, that kills it for me.
Yeah.
I mean, on the same end, SmackDown is taped Tuesdays and played on TV on Friday, but that's a little bit different. I can't go on to one of these websites and see what the next 4 weeks of TNA is going to be like. Like that, I don't like that. That doesn't appeal to me at all. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I liked Robbie E when he was with Big Rob Terry, I think it was, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were good, and it's pretty much the same thing. I just kind of think, I think when they get into that entertainment thing, and when their characters don't seem real, like that doesn't seem like that's really him.
Definitely, and it's a balance. I mean, if you go look and if you watch any of the Ring of Honor wrestling stuff, yeah, for a time it was all wrestling.
Right.
It was just wrestling, and you were like, well, that'd be nice. I need a little bit more of a reason why these two guys are mad at each other. And it seems like WWE, I know there was one time where I read an article where they did the time breakdown, and there was like 3 hours of 3 hours of programming and like 15 minutes of wrestling. Yeah, it's what a lot of it's a happy balance to try to be like, okay, well, these guys have issues. Here's why they're fighting. Now let's go let them fight. And I think TNA's in the mix trying to figure that out. And then plus like the whole like their knockouts division. I don't know, I haven't seen it in a while. It was a good reason to watch. Trying to balance the girls in with what the guys are doing. It's just a headache.
Well, that kind of seemed really good when you had Dutch Mantel running it, but it was like once he kind of left, it just seemed, it just kind of fell. I thought.
Yeah, definitely, and like I said, everyone who gets put in that position to be the control person, has a different vision of what they want to do. Like you said, you're not a big fan of the Jersey Shore people.
No.
So your ideal wouldn't necessarily be for those guys to A, get a lot of TV time, or B, be a prominent role in if you're running TNA, you wouldn't be like, okay, we got to do something with these guys.
Well, I definitely would, because it does seem like it's working.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, you think highly of them both wrestling wise, like, but you wouldn't necessarily be like, we need to just keep this thing going because it seems popular, because I don't like this. So, and that's how it is. Like, one guy comes in and is like, okay, it's all about these knockout chicks, and the ratings show that it works, and then someone else comes in and was like, yeah, we don't really think the girls are all that good. So just, everyone doesn't like chocolate ice cream. TNA's not even in the ice cream store right now. I think it's just a mess. But yeah, I don't really watch TNA all that much. I have a friend of mine that gives me the TNA updates. He'll call me and be like, "Look, you got to watch this part of TNA," and I'm like, "Okay, I'll check it out." But I get like that on Monday Night Raws too. Sometimes I don't watch them, and my same friend will call me and be like, "Hey, this is really good." Usually after WrestleMania, I'll stay tuned for a little bit, watch a couple of Raws just because I want to see where they're going with things. But yeah, and I'm getting better at it. I was at one point where I just couldn't watch anything. It's weird because this is what we do and this is what we enjoy, and I just couldn't stand watching any of it. I was just like, yeah, like baseball. Sometimes I'm just like, there's 162 games. Like if I miss one, I'll be okay.
Moving on. So you won't be watching TNA, is what you're saying tonight.
I might get around to it. Like I said, I always keep up with the results. I have my one friend Jerry will call me and be like, "Hey, look, this part was really cool, and you should see what these guys are doing." Not nothing. It's really must see TV. Like Raw, it's like you got to see what's going on with Daniel Bryan and this whole thing of the evolution, and like it gives you a reason to watch. And that's also, if you take it back to the independent level, that's what everyone who performs on the weekends and puts these shows on should be, gearing towards. One, let's get the fans in the building, and two is always why would you as a fan come back. And that's like I said, you got to find a reason why. And that TNA doesn't seem like they've got a reason to get people to come back. Not as far as the ratings look, but yeah, like I said, if there's something worth watching, I would watch it. I'd watch two guys in a ring in the middle of a flea market if it gave me a reason to watch it. Honestly,
So
and I have seen two guys in a flea market in the ring. There was a reason why these two guys wanted to kill each other. I mean,
have you bought into the whole Daniel Bryan yes movement thing that's happening right now?
when he got fired, and he made his return to the Indies, I tried with everything I could, all the pull I had at the time, to try to get him to work for the company or come in and do a show for the company I worked with. But yeah, we tried to. I was in contact with him to come and work our event, and it just didn't happen. And it was an opportunity, and I knew he wasn't going to stay off the Indies for long. It was just a chance to work with a guy that obviously went on to big things. I think it works because it's not forced. How many times do you feel like they just forced Cena on you? He could never lose there for a while.
You don't get that same feeling from this Daniel Bryan thing?
I think when Sheamus kicked him at WrestleMania and it was over with, I think people were like, "What the hell?" Like, this guy finally got to WrestleMania. First of all,
That's
it was
true.
like it was a world title match and they put it on first. No respect for him being the champion whatsoever, but they put him on first and he gets kicked and it's over with. And I was just there like, wow. You chin up and you get up and you're like, well, that's what happens. But the people got behind him and like, look, this poor guy got screwed. And it's been going on since then. The people got behind him then, and it just, as the months went by, people got more and more behind him. It's turned into what it is. So it's not like, the Fandango thing. After the Raw after WrestleMania, and everybody was fandangoing. That just was just people being people, and it caught on. But after we see Fandango in action, you're like, yeah, it's not. He just keep the dancing, sir, because that's all you got. So I think the Daniel Bryan thing feels really, like I said, it feels natural. It's not forced upon. WWE.com didn't come out there and put a big article about why you should like Daniel Bryan. They just
No, they pretty much, it was like they purposely buried him to the point where they were trying to force me to actually like him. I love Daniel Bryan. I love Spanky. I loved all that. I loved all of everything he did up until the Yes movement. Once they started pushing that, then it felt like this wasn't Daniel Bryan. This was now about Triple H making Daniel Bryan, and I always felt like that. And I felt like everything that Daniel Bryan has said since then didn't feel real. And even some of his promos now, they really just don't feel real. But if you talk to him or if you hear him on somebody's podcast, it's a totally different thing. You really get his views. That feels real. And if they could take that and just turn it up, it would definitely work. I just don't think that this yes thing, and it's I don't know. It just seems staged to me. It comes off as a little fake. But maybe that's just me. And I'm
It's a little,
just a fan. I don't know anything about the business. I'm just a hardcore fan. That's it.
you got valid points. It's a little bit of both. At the end of the day, it's still a business, and it got him recognized. If it feels organic to me or to you or not, it still gets him recognized. He's a great wrestler. He can go. We've known that for years. You watch any of the Ring of Honor stuff, any of the other companies that he's worked for. Like in the ring, he can go. There's no doubt that he can't go an hour and a half. I'd say he go 2 hours if he wanted to, but to be successful in WWE, you got to have that whole thing where I saw a promo where they were talking about how Miz was saying he had no personality, like during the NXT times, and like I don't remember those when Miz was like, "You have no personality, you're never gonna make it." He found his niche, the fans dug him, and because of that, organic or not, he's obviously now the champ.
Yeah,
That was
but fans dug his wrestling. We loved his wrestling because we wanted that style, that CM Punk Jeff Hardy style, where it just feels real, and it feels like that almost could be us smaller guys in there.
Yeah, it definitely, and that's how I said that's why people got behind him. They're like, look, this guy, he doesn't look like Batista or Randy Orton. He's not jacked up. I mean, he's built for his size, but he's not the over muscular guy, and he's a person that we can all relate to, and that's why I said like I think it worked out really well. And at the same time, it is a business, so it worked. I mean, everyone's yesing, so at the end of the day, that's what they wanted to do, and it elevated Daniel Bryan to a position where he's doing pretty good for himself. So
That's true. But now here's the question then. Where do they go from here?
see, that's the thing. I didn't think he was going to win at WrestleMania.
Really?
I wanted him to.
I
I
didn't
honestly,
want him to, but I knew he would.
I didn't. I was like, I was talking back and forth on Facebook here with friends of mine on this, and they were like, well, "Any predictions for WrestleMania?" And I'm like, Triple H is going to win. And then when I saw that it was first match, I'm like, he could still do it. I wanted Triple H to win because you could just imagine all the Daniel Bryan fans, including myself and you, we would have been so mad,
That's true.
so mad at Triple H.
Yep. Yep.
Because I honestly wouldn't know where they're going to go from here. I didn't watch Raw Monday. I know they did something with Evolution.
Yeah,
So
yeah, they're doing that. That's more with Shield, I think.
yeah, so I guess they're moving on to that. But I would have, like I said, I would have had him lose. I would have had Triple H win the title, and then do a like an Extreme Rules match at the next pay-per-view and give him the win. And then a part of me, like I said, Daniel Bryan, love him, great wrestler. I wanted him to get his WrestleMania moment. So
do you think that this was the best WrestleMania in a long time?
it got me sold. That's another thing. Like that, it's wrestling, but they're a entertainment company. Like honestly, I haven't watched a pay-per-view. I mean, I've watched them. I haven't purchased a pay-per-view in a good 3 years. I'll watch them secondhand from friends, or I'll buy the DVD when they come out if it's worth that much. But this whole network thing, it sucked me in. I'm paying $9 a month now for this, and I look at it as it's a smart business move because the total amount of money I spent on pay-per-views last year, I'll go 2012, was zero. But now they have me on the hook for $120 for the year. So they're definitely doing something right. I mean, and it's you get the pay-per-views. How can you not buy it? Like if you want to go to, I don't know, too many cable companies still providing the pay-per-views, but I mean, $40. I mean, $50 to 60 if you want it in HD, or you can pay $9 a month. Like
yeah, come on,
hardest thing ever. So
yeah, I think they were saying they're up to 670,000. Something like that. They might even. I think they're closer to 1 million now, actually. But just for for WrestleMania 30, they said they had 667,000 subscribers, and they had 400,000 who purchased the pay-per-view, the old school pay-per-view. So that's a huge numbers, man.
Yeah, it kind of sucks when they have to have a million subscribers to break even. I mean, just because you're like, you don't want this to fail. Like, I don't want them to come out in 2 months and go, yeah, we're not going to do this anymore. It's, we're cutting it. So you want.
There's no way that's going to happen. Vince, I mean, this is Vince's thing right here,
Funny though, but I'm just saying, like, if he came out and just said, well, we can't do this anymore because it's not working. Like I said, I'm a fan of everyone's product. It could be those guys in the field, at the flea market, because it's all wrestling to me. And like I said, I try to help everyone else out. Even there's no reason why with enough effort, you can take what does and use it to your advantage on a smaller scale. Be it with the Yes Movement or be it with anything like that. Your fans will see the show and be like, okay, it's something what like WWE's doing, but we can relate to him because it's going to be our local guys and it's going to be our guys in the area that we like. So yeah, I don't want the WWE network to go down. So hopefully they can get over that million mark, start making some money on that, at least enough to keep it in business. Vince will never pull the plug on it, but he'll eat money for a while. Look at those stupid WWE movies. God, those are horrible.
I think his last one made pretty good money, but that's because it didn't have any wrestlers in it or whatever. But I mean, I don't see why they couldn't do like a Predator type film with a bunch of wrestlers. People would go see that. They go pay money for that,
Yeah, there's been a couple of good ones. I saw See No Evil with Kane. I thought he played a pretty good.
Oh, I didn't like that. I didn't like all. That was weird.
Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah.
It's because like I looked at it as, hey, you're gonna be able to draw horror people that aren't just like wrestling fans, because that's what
true.
it is.
Yeah.
You put out a movie and you're like, oh, John Cena's in it, so it's gonna be like all the wrestling fans are gonna go see it.
Well,
Or
I don't like John Cena. I didn't like him up until recently. That's a whole nother story. But I did like the movie Legendary. I really liked that movie.
Yeah, that was okay. I thought the Marine was okay. I was like,
that was good.
Okay, yeah. So it's like I said, you're gonna get a bunch of WWE fans going to watch these movies, and like it's not gonna be the millions and millions of dollars. Like I guess that the latest one opened this weekend and it was like number 3, but I don't even think there was any wrestlers in it. I think there was one that Wade Barrett was in, but like I never even saw him in the movie.
There was one that Randy Orton was in. He was in it for like a split second, or he played somebody's father, like a bully's father or something like that. But I think they're they could get to the point where they're doing their own films that showcase on the network, and they can make some money there too, possibly.
I think that's another thing on the network. Like I'm looking for them to maybe put up those titles where it's like all the documentary DVDs that are going to come out. I know they have so much content with buying all different company libraries and whatnot, but if they really wanted to like take over, because I still use Netflix and I go watch like the Undertaker streak, the 21-0 streak they have, the
That's
DVD
true.
on, like they have the Triple H latest one, the Mick Foley one. If they want to get smart, they add that as a category to the network and just have you watch all the DVDs that they have come out.
Sure, but they probably have a deal with Netflix that that they want to keep some new stuff there or keep some different stuff there.
Yeah, I saw some of that stuff. I was like I still have to go out and I have to go buy this Ultimate Warrior DVD just because
Oh yeah.
I wanting that. But I think it's gonna get to a point down the road where it's like you can't see nothing except for on that app, except for maybe Raw. I mean, even if Vince doesn't get the money, I see him one day doing Raw and SmackDown on the app.
Now that would be great. I mean, that would be a game changer. But yeah, I would love to see that too.
And I just think it's because like right now, like I literally don't have any cable. I don't watch a lot of TV. Like my fiance has Netflix and Hulu Plus. Like I have the WWE app, and we just like I just watch stuff. Like I said, on my tablet, like I'm using right now. I put this thing next to my PC and I work on my Photoshop stuff, and it's just it's awesome. You can watch old WrestleManias and stuff like that, and I think cable TV is being phased out slowly. And like I said, I see Vince one day just it's all on the app, and he's gonna make a lot of money. He doesn't have to pay anybody outside of just him for the TV rights and stuff. So it's down the road. Down the road, it hopefully will do good. And it was a crazy idea 2 years ago when people were like, a channel just all of wrestling. I'm like, wow.
That would be great.
But did you ever get the on demand stuff? The like
No.
their 24 channel?
No, because I didn't have cable, so I couldn't get any of that.
Gotcha. It was nowhere near what it is now, but it was okay. One of my favorite programs, Legends of Wrestling. I watch that on the app all the time.
Yep.
They need to put out new ones. It was just a great concept. If you get the time to check those out, it's really talks a lot about the more of the business side. But
I love them all. I've seen them all, and I love them all, and I can watch them over and over again. So
Yeah, I
much
mean,
knowledge, so much knowledge.
so much going on. But yeah, that Raw I watch every once in a while, and they've hooked me, and they've hooked me for my $120 a year because I don't. I got this 6 months, and I was like, I'm gonna give it a shot. Everyone else is giving it a shot, and I've been more surprised than I thought. I know some of it's edited. You can set the settings on your device to filter out some of the because they do show some blood still, but which is nice because I thought they were just gonna totally do everything. Like I thought Chris Benoit wasn't gonna be there. I thought he was just gonna be a black shadowy guy. Like why is Eddie Guerrero hugging himself at the end of this WrestleMania? But it's definitely it's a good thing. I'm enjoying it. It sounds like obviously a lot of people are enjoying it as well. I never had any issue with the connection or anything like that. I know a lot of people were complaining about it, but I never had any problems. So then again, I have high speed internet. I spoiled myself, and I have like business class internet, so I never had I never had an issue with the streaming. It's all wrestling. It's just what scale you're on. Like there's a term, the indie wrestler. I don't like that term at all. And it's you're an independently contracted wrestler, and I was an independently contracted referee, but it's still pro wrestling. Like don't degrade yourself and be like indie wrestling. Well, okay. Is a doctor who's an intern going to be like I'm just an intern? Like no, you're still going to be a doctor one day. And I just have issues with that term. Don't cheapen yourself. And just like you're a wrestler, just like Triple H. You're just not anywhere as good as Triple H or on TV, but work to get there. But Raw and SmackDown, I don't know. Do you watch any of the Ring of Honor on HDNet kind of thing?
No, I haven't. I haven't watched some of the Ring of Honor.
Like you're in California, what do you watch? What local companies do you support, or what do you checking out DVDs when they come out and stuff like that? Are you what's it PWG fan?
No, no, not even that. I'm more of almost a just straight WWE guy or WWF. So, and I like I said, I don't have cable. I have Hulu and Netflix. So anything that I can get on there or anything that I can see online, I'm always searching to see whatever I can watch. And it's hard to find wrestling too.
Yeah,
You can find Triple A.
pretty caught up on all the NXT stuff. I know that's on
Oh,
Hulu Plus.
definitely. Yeah, I would say that is probably one of my favorite shows now. I love these new people that they're bringing up. I'm kind of saddened that they're already pushing up three of the top guys. They're already bringing them up to Raw. I mean, that might be good. It's definitely going to be good for Adam Rose, for Bo Dallas, and Rusev. But for NXT, it's good because it kind of opens up doors. I'd like to see Sami Zayn. I always thought that Sami Zayn is just like CM Punk. They're very, very similar.
Yeah, NXT is definitely, like I said, it's definitely where one I see a lot of people that I've been on shows with, and then two, it's like watch that because when they get moved up, like you said, those are the guys where the new stars come from. So it's definitely something to check out. I watch when I can. I watch the NXT special on the app,
Yes.
the live stream one. The 2 out of 3 Cesaro and Sami Zayn match was crazy. I love that.
Oh, me too.
That's good stuff. But yeah, definitely check out the NXT stuff. I try to watch it when I can. I'm starting to get into a schedule here with the app stuff, so that's definitely on the schedule. And that's another thing, like with the app we were talking about, like how long before they take it off of Hulu Plus. Hopefully, they have a pretty good contract with them because that brings wrestling to guys like you who don't have cable. Necessarily can watch it on the app. I'm gonna definitely have to YouTube you some links here for some stuff.
Yeah, send me some stuff. I mean, usually I get most of my wrestling news. I go to a site called ringsidenews.com. That's usually where I get a lot of my news because I found them to be one of the more credible people. I don't like these sites that post rumors and that and that get that name. What do they call it? There's a certain name that they Jim Ross and Eric Bischoff they call us. Oh, dirt sheets. Right. Now,
Yeah,
this is not a dirt sheet. That's the whole difference. I don't want to go to a dirt sheet and hear rumors. I want to hear, okay, well, this person said that. Give me some quotes. Act like a journalist. And that's what I
yeah.
like about this. So you must have a site or something like that too.
I
No?
usually go to Lords of Pain. I've been going them for years. They've been pretty okay. I picked that over a long time ago. It was one of the ones that had less of the banner ads, and back in the dial-up days of my slower internet connections, so I found some of the sites like OneWrestling.com and some of the other sites like that just had too many pop-ups and stuff like that. I mean, I understand, they've got bills to pay, so they need the ad pop-ups, but Lords of Pain really hasn't started me wrong, and like I said, it's got not a lot of extra stuff trying to sell you things. But like you said, the dirt sheets, that comment, that's funny. A lot of it is like anything else. I could tell you something, and then you could tell somebody else, and by the time we get 4 or 5 people down, what I told you has got nothing to do with what you heard, and what this guy at the end is saying. So it's, I take that into account. I could be like, Sting's close to signing. You're like, oh, okay, that's cool. And you tell somebody else, yeah, I think Sting showed up somewhere, and like he showed up on the Ultimate Warrior video. Yeah, and okay, so you tell somebody, yeah, I saw him on the app. And by the time you know it, 6 people down the road, you'll be like, yeah, Sting, and he's gonna have a match on the app next week. Like what? Like that's how I think the dirt sheets work. Like one guy tells somebody, yeah, he's gonna debut soon, and then 7 or 8 sites later, it's like this guy's got heat and he's never gonna make it up. What? Like this makes no sense. So yeah, it's like I'll segue into a story. I did a seminar with Marty Jannetty, which was a fun time. But he starts it out with well, I'll skip this part, but he starts it out with he stands in the middle of the ring. He's like, "What have you heard about me?" And we're like, "Well, no one knows you, so we couldn't really hear anything, personal." We're like, I told him, I was like, "You get fired a lot." He's like, "Yeah, I get fired a lot." He's like, "I've been fired and hired 4 or 5 times." I was like, and no one else spoke up, and one guy was like, "Well, I can't really say what have I heard about you because I don't know you personally. Like, if you want me to tell you what kind of rumors we've heard or things that you've done, or and he just really wanted to know if there was any questions we had, or any truths that we felt needed to be cleared up, which is a cool thing to say. But at the same time, we don't know anyone personally. I don't know any of these people that we're reporting about personally. So yeah, I take it mostly for secondhand. No one's got the direct line to Vince. And like unless Vince tells you, hey kid, this is what's gonna happen, then things could change. Obviously, this Undertaker thing, everyone thought he was gonna win. Okay, somebody called, who knows if Saturday night, Taker didn't come up to him and was like, I won, I know I'm done. Like, and who knew that between nobody, none of the news sites got a hold of it because nobody said anything. I don't take it as truth unless it's from the person you hear from. So that's just the way I look at dirt sheets.
Yeah, I was really happy that Taker lost that streak, and I was really happy that it was Brock Lesnar because it kind of brings that old school back to where wrestling is real. And some people call it fake, and I don't understand people that call it fake. It's not fake. And when you look at Taker passing that torch, or however you want to look at it, to Brock Lesnar, a person who grew up in wrestling, but who was a college wrestler, who went through the whole training of becoming a pro wrestler, who became champion, who did many great things. And I was really happy that Taker let Brock Lesnar beat him. I knew that there was no way that the Undertaker could beat Brock Lesnar unless somebody came in and helped him out, and I was glad that they didn't do that either.
Yeah, definitely. And I look at it as I saw something online the other day, and it was like, well, if the Undertaker's such an MMA fan, that if he was going to go out, why not be to a guy that legitimately was a UFC champion? Like you don't get any tougher than a guy who's won the UFC title. As far as we know, UFC is not predetermined or scripted in any way, shape, or form. There are some people that think it might be. There's always people with conspiracies about everything in this world, so we'll let them believe that. But Brock Lesnar, I think the reaction they got from WrestleMania, that really showed you that no one knew about it. And then like going back to the dirt sheets, a lot of things that people put out there, everybody wants to have the inside track on everything. If I knew something that you didn't know, and I was like, hey, guess what? I know something you don't. Like, everyone wants the inside track on things, and that's kind of what these dirt sheets try to provide. Like they look into some of them are just BS. Like you read stuff and you're like, what? No, like that's totally made up. And there's some things that OneWrestling.com and Bill Abner, like he's friends with a lot of people, so sometimes when he posts things on OneWrestling.com, it comes out to be true. But like I said, it's just people in the know think they have the inside track, and no one saw the Undertaker thing coming. And that's the way it should be. It can be predetermined. And, I don't like the word fake either. There's nothing fake about picking up a guy. There's nothing fake about punching the guy. That's all. It's not a movie. It's one take, and they have to do it live, and it's it's an art form to some people. But they got the reaction. Taker lost, and people were stunned, and you got what you wanted out of it. And like I said, if I was Taker and I wanted to finally lose, I'd be like, look, this guy's a legitimate UFC winner. Like, if anyone's gonna knock me out in the tough Undertaker, the tough streak, it's gonna be this guy. And it takes two to tango, so I'm sure everybody agreed on things, and we got the moment we got at WrestleMania. And like I said, if he's done, that's the way you want to go out. You put someone in the spotlight that you had, and maybe Brock Lesnar will stay around a little bit longer this time. Seems like Brock Lesnar wants to leave all the time. Keeps coming back for the paycheck.
That's what people say. I mean, that might be true. That could be true, but I don't think he really needs that money. It doesn't seem like he's wasteful with his money either. I think that wrestling is like a drug to these guys, and he wants to keep coming back. Yeah, those paydays are the only thing that keeps him coming back because of the WWE schedule. I've always thought that if they had an off season, just a couple months, 1 or 2 months, to let those rookies or those other people shine, I've always thought that would keep everything fresh, and that's really more geared towards this new digital age, because now we're in this thing where I'm watching wrestling almost every day now, and this is new stuff. Like, how do you keep that fresh, and how do you keep these people, these superstars that I love, that I want to see, how do you keep them from getting hurt or from getting burnt out or from like whatever happened with CM Punk? I don't want to see more people going through what CM Punk went through. I don't want to see more people going through what Jake Roberts went through because of that schedule. I don't know. Maybe that's just me as an outsider.
No, it's a plus. A point. For years we've been talking about a union as well.
Jesse Ventura has been talking about that.
I think with the last couple of years, and things have been getting better. I know WWE always provides rehab for guys who've been with the company, and even some guys who haven't never been with the company. So I think on an independent thing, like Vince is trying to take care of things. I know they're more strict with concussions, but the schedule is hectic. I mean, anyone who can look it up, and the schedule is, Monday's Raw, Tuesday's tape SmackDown, you get Wednesday and Thursday off, Fridays back to the weekend shows, like, the live event shows on Friday and Saturday, Sunday, and then you're back on Raw on Monday, and then throw in a pay-per-view on Sunday. It's a hectic schedule. At one end, there's only, if you go to WWE.com and look, there's only about 40 or 50 people that are lucky enough to be in those positions to do that. Plus, all the ring crew and stuff like that. But, so it's a plus and a minus. CM Punk was running at a very high level for a very long time. And it comes with being in that top company. There are guys that on the independent level, that there's a term they call the weekend warriors, and it's your local guy that might live in town that does his show on the weekend, and then 5 days a week he works at a Walmart or any other regular job, but on the weekend he does his wrestling. And those guys, and not saying they don't have the drive to become a WWE superstar, but they know that they're not going to become a WWE superstar, and they're okay with just doing their weekend thing. So it's definitely, like I said, I think Vince has gotten better with things. I think, he takes care of them as much as he can. I know anytime someone gets a concussion, it's not, hey, get back out there. It's, hey, let's pull you out. Like Christian. Christian was been hurt for a while now, and his concussion situation, they keep wanting to bring him back, and he's not ready, and it's not like the old days where they would just be like, get out there, take an aspirin, tape it up, and tough it up. And now it's, hey, you don't look like you're doing well. You had a concussion. You're obviously need to take some time, and they're being more supportive about that. So a union would be cool. Like I said, it would really help. I know Jesse Ventura has been talking about it for years now, but sometimes sometimes Vince looks at you still as an independent contractor, and it's a raw deal, to say the least.
Yeah, I don't get that. How can they're an independent contractor, but they can't go work for anybody else? It seems to me if they were an independent contractor, why couldn't they go work for these other smaller places or for even some other
And I think
wrestling
that's
company?
and I think that's what led Vince to like do more about the concussions and giving people time off and stuff like that. I think it's now that the contracts have been rewarded to where it's not that they're not the independent, as long as he's got them under contract. Like CM Punk with the whole name thing. If you notice, a lot of people when they come off the Indies and go to NXT, they get a name change because Vince wants to own your name, and people don't want to get released and then have to go back in the Indies. Is not something that they're used to using as their name. That's an issue. But yeah, no insurance. I wish that was the thing about unions that Ventura was pushing for years, is everyone getting insurance. And that's the thing, like on the smaller level where we're at, the independent contractor line gets used a lot, because when you'll notice that when you're looking into buildings, when you guys decide to start running your shows regularly, the building might or might not want a insurance, and this is where the independent contractor term gets thrown around. You get insurance to cover for your events, and then there might be there's different levels of insurance, and then the upper levels are ones where they want you to cover anyone who might get hurt at your show. I've worked with a few shady promoters in my times, and some of those guys don't want to pay for the upper scaled insurance. They just want the basic, we cover for the show enough to get us in the building. So they'll say that they can't be responsible for these wrestlers, and these wrestlers know it because they're independent contractors. So that, like I said, if that we had a union and stuff like that, that would all get taken care of, and I think a lot of people would go out of business. I know one time Indiana was pushing for it to be a regulated state where all promoters had to pay a yearly fee to run shows, and I think that would cut a lot of the problems out of wrestling right now, especially around here. More regulations need to be put in, but I don't see that happening anytime soon.
So would you be for
Yeah,
a couple months off or something?
yeah. The couple of months off, like I said, the schedule is just hectic. And you said with the digital age, they could find things to replay during this time. But again, the TV people are paying X amount of money for content. So I don't know how the TV companies would feel. The Spike that's used to getting a live show every week for 3 hours, but
Yeah, but those are the same people that Vince is trying to, basically steer from, to where we're putting content on the network instead of putting content onto cable and stuff like that, right?
yeah, I think if things, like I said, down the road get switched over exclusively to the app, where he's not going to have to provide these people with their X amount of weekly programming, then I could see it happening. I could see them doing a thing. I mean, they do it. What is it, during Christmas, where they tape Raw, an extra Raw or something, and then they give the guys off time for Christmas. That principle could be used for the couple of months off or whatnot, or even, like you said, bring some of the guys from NXT up and make NXT let those guys invade Raw and SmackDown for a couple of weeks to give these other guys a break. But it's something they need. I mean, every other sport has a downtime. So
Hey, do you have any view on Teddy Hart?
Oh, he's tagging with a cat, isn't he?
I
Did
love
you see that?
Teddy Hart. The more that I learn about him, I love everything. He seems real.
But he's training his cat to tag team with him,
I don't know
which
anything about that, but I've heard about
that,
what you're talking about. Yeah, but
yeah,
that's entertainment, right? I mean, I don't know, and he's an awesome wrestler too.
he's definitely an awesome wrestler. He's a bit out there.
But that's
Now
probably show though, right? Come on, you think that's
I've spoke to people. He's out there. Yeah,
okay?
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure Teddy Hart's out there. But then again, like you said, it's entertainment. Now, is there? Why isn't he caught on with a big enough company? Is the question. Like, is it entertainment, and these companies just don't want to hire him, or is it he's literally have issues and nobody wants to hire him because he's crazy? Like, it's that blurred line. People. You said you don't like the term fake. Okay, I don't like the term fake either. But is it predetermined or is it arranged or that could be a question, but it's not fake because there's two guys in the ring going at it. Like you can't fake. It's not. And I look at it as like it's a movie. At the end of the movie, the Avengers are gonna win. You know what I mean? Like and you realize you suspend your beliefs for an hour while you're watching that movie. And, you honestly know that there's not another foreign planet where Thor's from, and these guys aren't invading anything, or, stuff like that. You suspend your beliefs because it's a movie, and that's the same way you should look at wrestling. You're like, okay, these guys are going and doing their thing, and I've paid my X amount of money to go see Raw, and I enjoyed it, and I had a good time, and my family and my friends had a good time, and next week it'll be again, and I'll tune in again next week, and I'll enjoy myself, and I'll suspend all my problems that are going on in the regular world to be entertained for a couple hours, and then that'll be it. And a lot of people are just like, it's fake and it's not real, and no, it's I can't. There's nothing you can. Those people. There's nothing you can do to convince them that they're not going to tell you these things. Like if they're set on it, they're set on it. But hey, if you can't enjoy it like I can, then you're the one with the problem, not me.
exactly,
And
exactly.
Teddy Hart is crazy. Like I'm
Well,
pretty
Teddy,
sure.
I mean, his promo, he's done like I watched some of his promos and just like, they're just they're what old school. They're what I think old school wrestling should be. That it got me hook, line, and sinker because he had stuff to vent the same way that Stone Cold Steve Austin vented. After Eric Bischoff fired him, it kind of felt like that, and it felt like you were getting something behind the scenes of wrestling, something that wasn't scripted, and really in this John Cena age, and that's we have to get into that later, but it's just like everything is just so scripted. So when you have somebody like CM Punk or somebody like Teddy Hart, it just feels real.
Yeah, and see, and that's another thing. Without going into too many details, um, you know, was it now? The CM Punk promo. You want to bring that up? Okay, was it real because he was saying things that he's not supposed to say? Is that the vibe you got off it?
I'm not sure, but I definitely know that the CM Punk promo between him and Kevin Nash seemed staged. That seemed fake.
Nash was trying too hard, and he's not. He's not at the level of where CM Punk can go with his promos.
I see.
CM
I think it's the other way
Punk,
around.
well, Kevin Nash. I don't know if we're remembering the same one, but Kevin Nash makes the Waffle House jokes, and says he looked like the guy that should be busting his table. It kind of seems not as realistic as some of the things that Punk was saying, as
Right.
far as Nash being washed up and past his time and stuff like that.
Right,
Which
but have you heard Kevin Nash talk about why, talk about his side about why that promo was so watered down?
no, I haven't heard about that.
Yeah,
I
he
just
would.
know. I just going off of what the promo I remember seeing.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, no. Some of the things Punk said was the pipe bomb. That whole deal with Cena's laid out in the ring and he's out on the ramp with the Stone Cold shirt talking. Like, you know, you look at it as from both angles. Okay, well, he said a lot of things that normally you don't hear on TV. Correct?
Yes. and they
Yeah,
did feel real, and there was a lot of truth in it, and that's what really hooked me in. Was it staged? Yes, but it still felt like real feelings and real content.
and that's the thing. It's like it's entertainment and it's scripted, but CM Punk didn't fake any of those feelings. That's the way he felt.
Right.
But then again, it's Vince's TV show, TV show. So the minute he wanted to cut to commercial, they would have cut to commercial, or they would have cut his mic,
Which they did, or
which they did.
they scripted that they did, or whatever. But
Or he told him, hey, go out there and hit these key points, or talk about this, and not didn't hand him a script like John Cena would get or somebody. I think, like I said, Punk's good on the mic enough to be like, look, and that's why the old school wrestling was so great. Like, you could tell somebody, hey, look, I want you to go out there and talk for a minute. I'm telling you, okay, Greg, I want you to go out there and talk about this show we're having for 2 minutes. Make sure they know where the building is. Make sure they know what town it is, and make sure they know what time it starts. And you're gonna wrestle Derek. Now go out there. And he told Punk, here, you have this much time. These are the points you need to get across. Do whatever you want. And if we don't like it, we'll just cut your mic off. So Punk, being Punk, he said things that he's always wanted to say, things that are true to him. And you felt that, and I felt that. We felt, look, this is, he's using terms and saying hi to people and mentioning people that were not WWE affiliates, like
Colt Cabana.
Colt Cabana. He mentioned Ring of Honor. He mentioned, so that on those terms, you're like, oh wow, well, it's off the script, because Vince would never let him talk about Ring of Honor. But at the same time, this is Vince's show, and if I tell you, if he just said something he didn't want to hear, Vince would have cut the cord. So that's my problem with fake, the word fake, and people saying it's fake. And it's scripted. There's guidelines, but some of the people that Vince trusts, go out there and do it. Now there's guys that couldn't speak to save their life and get handed a paper and tell them, hey, remember this, because when we cue you, you got to say it. And then I don't know if you saw, there's the script for Raw on Monday. It came out. It got leaked online. I'll Facebook you that I've saved them all, because this is where I get my ideas from. And it literally goes down, and this is where you get back into people saying it's fake. Well, they see stuff like this and go, like, it's fake. There's a piece of paper in front of me here, the image I saved, and it's got 7:05. This guy does this. Cue the music, Raw intro. Michael Cole says this. Like, it's planned out, but sure, for Michael Cole to read line by line, that's not there. Like, Michael Cole's gonna go and it says around this time, plug the app. Okay, so Michael Cole puts it in his own words. Like that, it's a show. It's still a TV show. Like, right, take any show you watch on TV and try to tell me how it's not scripted. But just because it's scripted doesn't mean it's not entertainment. And yeah, and like I said, CM Punk was trusted enough to be able to go out there and say the right thing. I'm sure John Cena, to some extent, can go out there and say the same, say what he wants. The beginning of WrestleMania with The Rock and Stone Cold and Hogan.
Silverdome.
Yeah, I'm sure that was ad-libbed. The Rock saw that he made a mistake, and they joked around with him for a good minute. And you're not going to tell The Rock, no, you can't do that. Like,
they're going to do what they want.
Yeah, the Rock's earned that respect enough to go out there and be like, here's the mic, do what you want because you're good. And I don't think there are enough guys on our TV that can do that. That's another thing that you don't, you can teach, but if you don't have it, you don't have it. People always say, well, he's got it, like quotation marks, it. And, like, obviously the guys that can get on the mic and connect with us as fans are the guys who have it.
All right. Thank you for listening to the first part of our 3-part series with Derek Sharp, Curtain Jerker Designs. You can find him on Facebook. Make sure that you like his page, and make sure that you join us for part 2 of our interview with Derek Sharp. And we will be discussing many more topics, including Teddy Hart, a short story about Greg the Hammer Valentine's boots, All Action Wrestling, which is an NWA sanctioned company. You hear about some of his times as a referee. And of course, we will talk about The Undertaker versus Sting at WrestleMania 31. So make sure that you join us in our second part, coming right up.